Alright guys, James back here again with you, and went out fishing again this morning. I had so much fun yesterday. I went out this morning and man, I tore them up again. I got 8 this morning, and the only reason why I kept 8, I caught a little more than that, but I threw a couple back because they were so small. But pretty much the only reason why I only have that much is because I ran out of bait. So anyway, I just wanted to cover my rigs here. I got a pole off a guy I used to work with. He was going to throw it away, and it was a fly fishing setup. So if you ever panfish, crappie fish, or whatever, those rods are pretty similar. They're the same, almost the same length, really long, really flimsy. And I wanted to test this theory out that I had. If a longer rod is better than a shorter ultralight rod. And they're both rigged the same way, both reels the same line. Same bobber setup. I'll show you the rig. So I got a 164 ounce jig head with a barrel swivel, about a 12-inch leader line, 4-pound, with a slip float all the way up to a bobber stopper. Same setup on both lines. But I wanted just to see today, this morning, if there was a huge difference in the poles and which one would be better. And what I noticed is, you know, if you're around trees or something, casting the longer pole is going to be more of a challenge. But at the end of the day, which pole would catch more fish if you did the same exact technique when popping the jig to hook the fish in the mouth, everything like that. And I found that the longer pole covers more ground out in the water, because when you whip that pole up, it's going to yank that same amount of line out of the water versus that little tiny, 5'6" ultralight. And then when you whip it, and if you have slack in the line, that fish, there's a chance the fish is either going to be on the hook or it's not. And with that long fly fishing rod or crappie rod or whatever, every time I pretty much whipped that, as long as the fish had the hook in its mouth, it was set. That's the only thing I didn't really care for. These jig heads, they're great if you just lift them right up. But if you try to, hook the fish sideways, yank your pole sideways or whatever, there's a huge chance of it popping out of their mouth. And you have to really yank these jig heads hard to hook them, because when you do that, when you lift it straight up, that hook will go up in their nose, and that's a pretty hard part of their body. So you really have to hook them good to get them with that jig head versus a standard hook. And standard hook, there's all different ways to hook a fish, but that's just because of the jig, the way it sits in the water. And it sits like this, just like that. When it's in the water, it sits like that. So when you yank up, it hooks them automatically. Or as long as they have it in their mouth. So anyways, guys, I got you some fishing clips today that I wanted to show off. Real short and simple. Using the crickets again. Pretty much both these poles are great, but using crickets is pretty much a surefire rig. As soon as I threw the line in the water with the cricket on it, they were all over it. And I think I missed a couple because they popped out of their mouth, but other than that, another fun day fishing. And I wish I had more bait, but you can't complain when you leave with the fish in the basket. So anyways, guys, I appreciate you watching. I hope you enjoyed the fishing clips, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks again. There's another good sizer. Oh, that's a bull. A little small.